Good evening, everyone. This is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting. We're coming to you with a news alert tonight, a story that you've seen a lot of if you've been following mainstream media today. They've been talking about this as if it's a very big story, an important story, and a potentially very concerning story. And so we wanted to talk about it and get your feedback on it as well. So the story is, and before I talk about it, I just want to say, broadcasting. I just wanted to check if you guys could hear me, which you can. Wonderful. So the story is that Jared Kushner, since the election, since December actually, has been using a private email account to conduct some White House business. Now that's the headline, and when you see the headline, the headline can seem very concerning and very bad. So let me just show you how some of the media, the mainstream media, has been portraying this today. So for example, CNN breaking news on Twitter. Jared Kushner used a private email account to correspond with other administration officials, his lawyer says. Ari Melber says, and we like Ari Melber at Right Side Broadcasting, but he says, Kushner uses personal email for some White House business. He and Ivanka set up private email domain. Several laws implicated. Jake Tapper says, attorney, Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials. Do I have the Jim Acosta one? Yes. Jim Acosta. Jared Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials. CNN's Kevin Bond, CNN has confirmed. So when you just see the headline, your first thought is, oh my gosh, this is terrible. How could Jared Kushner do the same thing that the Trump and the Trump administration are criticizing Hillary for, conducting all his business with secret private emails? How can he do such a thing? Now, I will say this. Whenever I've seen a story come out during President Trump's administration where the story is like Trump or person affiliated Trump does X, where X is something that would just be clearly horrible to do and would look so bad for them and is something where you can't even imagine that they even did such a thing. Whenever I see a headline like that, one thing I always try to do is I say, you know what? Let me actually read the whole story behind the headline, because very often I've found that if you read the whole story and you read the details, it doesn't sound nearly as bad as the headline makes it out to be. And as I will explain now, I personally feel like this is a case of that. You can feel free to disagree with you. Allow me to explain to you why this is. And my explaining is just going to be me talking about the details of the actual story. So what I'd like to do is, Politico is the one who broke the story. And so I want to just go through the Politico story and look at the details of this. And let's see what the details are of this story. And then when we see the details of the story, then we can ask, okay, well, how bad is this? So, and notice in these tweets, they're not talking about the details. They just do headline. Jared Kushner used private White House email. It's so bad. And the implication when you send out a tweet like this without any further information, to me, the implication is, oh, this is just what Hillary did. It's just as bad. This is terrible. So, I think if you're a big journalist and you send out a headline like this, if that's not your implication, then you owe it to your readers to clarify. But these tweets don't have clarifications; they're just the headline. So let's look at the actual story here in Politico. And again, this is Right Side Broadcasting, and thank you to the moderators for being with us tonight and moderating the chat room. We appreciate it. And after we talk for a bit, I'm going to take your comments on this. I'd love to hear what your opinion is on this, no matter what it is. So maybe you think this is a huge story. Maybe you think it's not a big story. Let me know. Reach out to me on Twitter, @Lookner, @Lookner. Let me also say, if you like this kind of coverage, if you like that we're going to go in depth here and actually read the details of the article, please consider donating, because your donations keep us on the air. We are viewer supported. Without your donations, we couldn't be on the air. So it's if you want to support us and allow us to do more in-depth coverage than you sometimes see in the mainstream media, I'll say it because I think it's true. If you want us to do that kind of coverage, please consider donating. You can donate by going to the YouTube chat room right next to the broadcast. There's a $ at the bottom of the chat room. Click on that $sign. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. And don't forget to know when we're we're coming on the air with these breaking news videos. We do them at all hours. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get a notification about us coming on the air. All right, let's talk about the story. Let me show you the headline. Kushner used private email to conduct White House business. All right, on the face of it, this seems like it could be really bad. Is he doing the exact same thing Hillary did? How could he have done such a thing? All right, well, let's get into the details of the story. Okay, let's read. So we go down, and it starts by saying, presidential son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner has corresponded with other administration officials about White House matters through a private email account set up during the transition last December, part of a larger pattern of Trump administration aides using personal email accounts for government business. Okay, so between the headline and this opening, you might think, and I believe there's an intention to make people think, oh my gosh, Jared Kushner has been conducting secret business that no one's going to know about, and he's been trying to hide something. So he set up this private email address where he could conduct all of his White House business by his private email address and not using public. And he's trying to conceal all his White House dealings from everyone. That's at least to me the headline. And this opening, that's what it conveys to the average person. But let's read the story and see if that's true in the actual story. Okay, let's continue. Kushner uses his private account alongside his official White House email account, sometimes trading emails with senior White House officials, outside advisors, and others. Sometimes trading emails with senior White House officials, outside advisors, and others about media coverage, event planning, and other subjects, according to 4 people familiar with the correspondence. Politico has seen and verified about 24 emails. Now hold on right here. When you first see this is the first time you might, I think, at least I said, wait a second, what's exactly going on with the story? Because you see what it says is he uses his private account to talk to White House officials, outside advisors, and others about media coverage, event planning, and other subjects. Well, media coverage and event planning doesn't sound like the kind of juicy emails that when you see a headline like this, Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials. When you see this headline, that headline to me implies he's talking about Russia. He's talking about foreign policy. He's talking about devious activities. But already in the second paragraph of the Politico article, we're seeing, well, he uses the emails to talk about media coverage, event planning, and other subjects. That doesn't seem as media as it's implied in the headline, at least. All right, but let's continue. Let's just continue. It does say other subjects, so let's continue. Quote from his lawyer, Mr. Kushner uses his White House email address to conduct White House business. Abby Lowell, a lawyer for Kushner, said in a statement Sunday. Fewer than 100 emails from January through August were either sent to or returned by Mr. Kushner to colleagues in the White House from his personal email account. Hold on a second. So the headline says, Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials, which kind of sounds like that's what he uses whenever he wants to talk to White House officials. Now we're hearing from Kushner's lawyer, assuming he's telling the truth, that fewer than 100 emails in all this time were either sent to or returned by Kushner to colleagues in the White House from his personal email account. So now we're talking about fewer than 100 emails, and in the paragraph 2, it seemed to say they were about media coverage, event planning, and other subjects. Okay, this isn't sounding as bad as the headlines first seemed, but let's continue. Maybe there's worse details in here, so let's continue. Oh, and then the lawyer says, these emails to White House officials on the private email address, the fewer than 100 of them, usually forwarded news articles or political commentary, and most often occurred when someone initiated the exchange by sending an email to his personal rather than his White House address. Oh, wait a second. So now we're hearing that of these fewer than 100 emails, usually they were forwarding news articles or political commentary, and most often this use of the private email address occurred when someone else initiated the conversation by writing to Jared Kushner's private email address. Well, See, now the headlines made it sound like he's always using this private email account to talk to White House officials and talking about all this juicy stuff, and he's trying to conceal stuff. Now we're hearing it's fewer than 100 emails. It's things like forwarding news articles and event planning. And usually, most often when these fewer than 100 emails were sent to and from this private account, it was because someone else initiated the exchange by emailing Jared at his private account. So, this isn't sounding that bad to me right now, but we'll continue. We'll keep going and see. Again, maybe there's worse details in the actual in the article. Let's see. So we'll keep going. All right, let's keep moving down this article. Maybe we just haven't gotten to the really, really bad stuff yet. Okay, aides who have exchanged emails with Kushner on his private. All right, let me just make sure this isn't putting out audio here. Aides who have exchanged emails with Kushner on his private account since President Donald Trump took office in January include Reince Priebus, Steve Bannon, Gary Cohn, Josh Raffel. Fine. These are just people who did participate in these email exchanges. In some cases, those White House officials have emailed Kushner's account first. At times, Bannon and Priebus have also used private email accounts to correspond with Kushner and others. Fine. That's nothing really new. The decision to set up new private accounts as Kushner was preparing to enter the White House came in the wake of a bitter election campaign in which Trump routinely excoriated his Democratic rival Hillary Clinton for using a personal email account to handle government business when she was Secretary of State. I guess that's relevant if it turns out that Jared is doing the same thing Hillary was doing, but we haven't really seen evidence of that yet. So I don't really see the relevance of this detail yet. It's kind of background, I guess, maybe supposed to get the reader angry, but it's not really relevant yet, and given the details we have of this article, at least as I'm reading them. But let's continue the article. Let's keep reading. There is no indication that Kushner has shared any sensitive or classified material on his private account, or that he relies on his private email account more than his official. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, what? There is no indication that Kushner has shared any sensitive or classified material on his private account. Hold on, I just want to agree this again, because I saw these big headlines that said Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials. Kushner uses personal email for some White House business. Several laws implicated. Kushner used a private email account to correspond with other administration officials. Wow, because those headlines seem to say he's hiding stuff, and there's all this juicy classified stuff he's not letting people see, and that's why he's using his private email address. But in the actual story, look what it says in like the 5th or 6th paragraph. It says, there is no indication that Kushner has shared any sensitive or classified material on his private account. Well, that to me makes it a very different story than the Hillary story. The Hillary email story, one of the big reasons a lot of people were upset about Hillary using a private email server is that the FBI itself said a number of those emails she was sending and receiving on her server contained classified material. And according to Politico's own story, it says there's no indication he has shared any classified or even sensitive material. It's not just no indication that Kushner has shared classified material. It's no indication that Kushner has shared any classified or even sensitive material. So let's take stock. We're talking about fewer than 100 emails. We're talking about emails having to do with things like media coverage and event planning, and involving forwarding news articles to people, usually, from what we can tell, and forwarding political commentary. The majority of these exchanges were not even initiated they were initiated by somebody besides Jared when they emailed Jared at his private server, his private address. Wow. This isn't sounding to me as bad as the headlines seem to make it. It almost seems to me at this point like tweeting out a headline like this is a little bit irresponsible to me, because that makes it sound like there's lots of nefarious stuff going on, but I haven't seen the nefarious stuff yet. But let's continue the story. Let's continue. Let's keep reading. Okay. So we left off with aides say he prefers to call or text over using email. And remember, it doesn't even say, it says There's no indication that Jared relies on his private email account more than his official White House account to conduct government business. You know, these headlines here make it seem like, this makes it seem like maybe that's all he was doing is when he talked to White House officials is using private email. But the actual story says there's no indication he uses his private email account more than his official White House account to conduct government business. Now, I think that's different from Hillary, because when I remember when Hillary was using a private server, wasn't she using that as her main email when she was Secretary of State at least some of the time? And if that is the case, that seems different from this. But let's continue. Okay. Still, Kushner and his wife, Ivanka Trump, set up their private family domain late last year before moving to Washington from New York, according to people with knowledge of the events, blah, 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 blah. At the time, Kushner was expected to be named a White House role. Fine. So I guess they're implying that that they shouldn't have set up this private email address. Okay, well, I'd have to know more about what the supposed big important emails were that were being sent on the private email address and hidden from everybody, but maybe it'll say that later in the article. Kushner's representatives declined to detail the server or security measures on it. Fine. Now you might say, well, wait, he was using private email to conduct White House business. Couldn't his private email have been insecure, like if he was using Gmail or something? Fair enough, but remember, look at the story above. It says there's no indication that he shared any sensitive or classified material on his private email account. So even if this email got hacked, according to Politico, there's no indication that there's any classified or even sensitive info in there. So, I mean, even if his email did get hacked, he wasn't sharing any private or classified or sensitive info on there. So it doesn't seem like a huge deal if he was sending, forwarding newspaper articles on his private email. I don't care about, some other country getting a forwarded newspaper article. Anyways, let's continue. People familiar with the account. Oh, by the way, we got a couple donations. I just want to say thanks. Carl Peterson made a donation, $5. He said, RSBN is simply the best. Thank you, Carl. And Jerry OOOG made a donation. He said Kushner didn't have special access intelligence on a private server in his basement. So we have seen that Politico itself said there's no indication there were any classified or even sensitive emails in this that he sent from this private email address or were received on them. So thank you for the donations. We are viewer supported, so if you like our coverage, you can, we rely on your donations to stay on the air. So if you like our coverage, please consider making a donation. Even small donations really help us. And you can donate by clicking on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat. At the YouTube chat next to the broadcast, there's a $sign there. You can donate by clicking on that or going to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Okay, let's continue with this article. I'm waiting for the really bad stuff to come up in this article. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a lot of stuff which makes this doesn't look that bad, but I'm going to keep reading the article. People familiar with the account say it was primarily set up. People familiar with the account say it was primarily set up for Kushner's personal communications, but he has used it to communicate with acquaintances outside the White House about matters relating to Trump and the administration, according to people who have received messages as well as with his White House colleagues. Again, I'm not seeing anything really bad there. Let's keep going. Kushner has been under scrutiny in the ongoing Russia probes, which have expanded to include, this just talks about the Russia probe, and Kushner's private email traffic may also be of interest to the FBI and congressional investigators. Fine, but none of that tells me about anything bad that he was sending in his, or anything especially sensitive or classified he was sending in his private email. So that's just background. Let's keep going. Ivanka Trump, now an assistant to the president, has an email account of the same domain. They said Politico has not seen Ivanka Trump's correspondence, and there's no indication that she used her account to discuss government business. So that seems to be not really important at all or relevant to saying there was nefariousness going on here. Okay, let's keep going. Private email traffic among White House aides, some of it sent between personal email accounts rather than to or from government addresses, could skirt the requirements of the Presidential Records Act, which requires all documents related to the president's personal and political activities to be archived. Trump himself is not known to use email, but occasionally has email messages to his assistant printed and presented to him. Okay, so here's something where you might think this is problematic for Jared, because it says the Presidential Records Act requires all documents related to the president's personal and political activities to be archived. So if Jared Kushner was sending emails related to the president's personal and political activities, even if they weren't sensitive or classified, on a private email address and then deleted them, that could technically violate the Presidential Records Act. Now, maybe that's what Ari Melber was saying when he said several laws implicated. I've only seen one law in this article so far. That's the one. But let's keep reading. So is Jared violating the Presidential Records Act? You know, to show he's violating it, we'd have to show he wasn't keeping copies of these emails. So let's keep reading. Let's see what this says. Oh, wait, next paragraph. Hold on a second. Kushner's lawyer Lowell said Kushner has adhered to government record-keeping requirements by forwarding all the emails to his account, though Politico could not verify that. Wait a second. So according to Jared Kushner's lawyer, all of the emails we're talking about in this story, the fewer than 100 emails we're talking about, none of which contain supposedly, there's no indication they contain classified or sensitive information, but of these fewer than 100 emails, Jared's lawyer says all of them have been forwarded to his government account. Now hold on a second. If all of the emails in question have been forwarded by Jared to his government account, what's the story here? The whole reason this is supposedly a story, the whole reason for these nefarious sounding headlines, Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials. The whole reason this is supposed to be bad is that he's keeping stuff from people and that he's avoiding using his government account and keeping information on his private email that's not on his government email. But look what the story says. And this is like, where is this? Paragraph 14 or something? Lowell, his lawyer, says Kushner is forwarding all the emails to his account. So, to his government account. So, there are copies of him. If he's forwarding them all to his government account, then then he's not violating the Presidential Records Act because there are copies of his emails on his government account. So, I thought this was supposed to be such a bad story, but I sort of sound like a broken record. But look at what this Politico story has told us. There's fewer than 100 emails we're talking about here. They involve, none of them involve, that Politico has found, sensitive or classified information. They focus on topics like event planning and media coverage and involve a lot, from what we can tell, usually involve things like forwarding articles and Politico commentary. The majority of the exchanges, according to the article, on the private email server were initiated by other people when they emailed Jared at his private address. And here's the real kicker. All of the emails in question, according to Jared's lawyer, have been forwarded to his government address. So nothing is being kept private. Everything is being forwarded to all the White House business emails on his private address are being forwarded to his government address. So I'm not seeing what the story is here. What's the story? I'm so confused. All right, so the rest of this, other White House officials have sometimes used personal accounts to correspond with Kushner, blah, 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 blah. It's about other White House officials. It talks about Hillary Clinton. It talks about blah, blah, blah. If emails related to Trump aren't saved, it could be difficult for historians. But at the same time, according to Jared's lawyer, they're all being forwarded to the government account. So unless Politico can show me that that's a lie, it seems that they all will be saved because they're all forwarded to the government account. So I don't know. I just read you the story, and at least I literally just read you the details of this Politico story. And this was the story all of the tweets were based on today. At least this is what broke the story today. And seems to me like there's no nefariousness going on here at all. Seems to me like we have some pretty harmless emails, fewer than 100, not about classified or sensitive material, and they've all been forwarded to the government account anyway. So how does that compare? Is it apt to compare that to Hillary Clinton, say, having a private server where she talked about where some of the emails did contain classified information and she wasn't forwarding them to a government account? Presumably, if she did forward them to a government account, a lot of those emails could have been recovered. So on the thing one, I don't see any nefariousness going on here. I'm open to somebody convincing me there is nefariousness here, but I don't see any. And two, I don't see a really good comparison to Hillary Clinton's private email server. Now, I'm basing this on the actual article. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see here. I heard, by the way, that we went black a few times. By the way, I forgot to say this at the beginning. We've been having an issue today. With YouTube. And for the last month with YouTube, where during our broadcasts, a black logo comes up on the screen for a few seconds. If that happens when you're watching, it's a YouTube malfunction. It's not on our end. I don't know why they can't fix it, but it's been happening. But we will. It just happened again. Wow. I don't know what's going on here. So I'll keep talking though, because this keeps happening, and I don't know what the reason for it is. But the thing is, you'll see this on the replay. On the replays, when you go into the archives, the black logo isn't there. So I'm going to actually type to the chat room. Well, I'll just tell the chat room. Sorry guys, not our fault. YouTube's fault. Don't know why they can't fix this. We are still live and will be right back on as soon as black logo disappears. And just know you can always, sorry folks, you can always watch the broadcast again in the archives, and the black logo shouldn't be there. So we have no idea why this keeps happening. I really do apologize for this. We just don't know. We don't know. So, and it's really annoying, and we've written to them numerous times about this. But anyways, if the black logo comes up, it's not our fault. It'll be there for a few seconds. We'll come back. Also, you can always go to the archives. And for some reason, when you watch it on the archives, on the YouTube page, there's no black logo there anymore. Beats me why it's happening. So, anyways, to sum up what I was saying, the point of all of this that we've been saying here is that, there were these initial headlines, and sorry, Joe just texted me. And you can also watch on Facebook too, because Facebook, they don't have this black logo issue. But anyways, let me just summarize what I was talking about. So what we had today is we had mainstream media coming out with headlines, alarming headlines like this. Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials. Kushner uses personal email for some White House business. He and Ivanka set up private email domain. Several laws implicated. Kushner used a private email account to correspond with other administration officials, his lawyer says. Jared Kushner used private email account to talk to White House officials. CNN's Kevin Bond has confirmed. And all these headlines seem really bad, and they make it seem like Jared Kushner was set up a private email address because he had something to hide, and he's been conducting all this White House business the whole time about sensitive matters like Russia and other things, and he's been using his private email address, and now we'll never be able to see what he was talking about. But I actually went through the Politico story on which this was based today, this Politico story. I went through it, and what did we find out in the story? We found out that what was at issue here was fewer than 100 emails. None of them, as far as Politico knows, contains any sensitive or classified information. None of them contains any sensitive or classified information. They focused on things like media coverage and event planning and forwarding articles Also, and here's the big kicker. The big kicker is this. All of these messages were, according to Jared's lawyer, have been forwarded by Jared. Excuse me, have been forwarded by Jared to his government email address. So nothing's been kept secret here. The fewer than 100 emails in question, none of which contain sensitive or classified material, according to Politico, as far as they know, all of them have been forwarded by Jared. His lawyer says, and Politico doesn't have any evidence otherwise, all of them have been forwarded to his government account. So they're now on the government account. So there's no private emails that Jared has sent about received about White House business that are not available on his government account if people want to look at them. And that would also mean he didn't violate that one law, the Presidential Records Act. I don't know why Ari Melber said law is implicated. I only saw one law, and that one doesn't seem to be violated. So, anyways, it's to me, I do not see anything wrong here in this story. And what I do see is lots of mainstream media tweeting out alarming headlines. And I feel like these are irresponsible headlines because their audience will take these headlines a certain way. And the way they take them is not what the story actually says. So I think all of these people, and look, Ari Melber, friend of Right, we like Ari Melber. Friend of Right Side Broadcasting, but I gotta say these headlines are irresponsible. They should not be put out without clarification, but they all were. So that's my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me on this, but I read the whole story. So if you're gonna disagree with me, I hope you address some of what I said about the story. Anyways, up and we went black again. How about that? Hey, I'm gonna text Joe. So I'm going to tell people in the chat to hold on. I guess it's been 8 times now we've gone black. I don't know why this is. But it's very frustrating. We'll keep waiting. I'm going to keep talking here. Sorry, I was just texting our boss, Joe, who knows about this. All we can do is talk to YouTube. And I'm keeping talking because on the replay, you'll be able to see me full. But I'm going to keep talking here. This is one of the longest ones I've seen. It's still happening. It's still black. So I'm going to wait to talk so people can hear me. I mean, it's really crazy. So I'm looking at the live broadcast. It's been black for like a minute now. It's really unbelievable. Now I'm back. Guys, I don't know why this is happening. I don't think there's an excuse for it at this point, even if it's been happening a month and it's happening so long. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, all we're doing is talking about the news here. So I really don't know what's happening. But anyways, I'd like to read your comments. I'll keep an eye on it. So all we can do is contact them. I don't really know what's happening with them, and I really apologize. It's been happening all day today. Really bad. Really bad. And Jude, the moderator, says 7 times now, and people have missed lots of the story. So guys, you can always go back and watch the entire video again on YouTube. When you watch it again after the end, it shouldn't have the black on it. You can also watch it on Facebook, but I would just go back again and watch it again on YouTube and just check it out. As I said, the basic idea here is if you read the article for all the reasons I mentioned, there really seems to be no nefariousness going on here that I can tell from Jared Kushner. All right, so I'd like to get your comments on this. Hopefully it won't go black during your comments. I don't know why it keeps going black. Let me go to me here. Let me take some of your comments here. So again, very frustrating today with all these black screens that YouTube keeps putting up, and I don't know why it's happening. So we apologize, and I know it's frustrating for you too. Let me get to some of your comments here. Patriot of Truth says, I'm watching on Facebook and it's great. Well, no black screens on Facebook. Gene Arthur says, do you know YouTube keeps cutting you? Yes, Gene, it's a really big issue. Nasty Canasta says it went black 3 times in 3 minutes, I guess, earlier. It's really frustrating. You know, we're doing this broadcast. But again, you can watch it again on Facebook. You can watch it again on YouTube. The black won't be there when you watch it again on YouTube, so I apologize about this. Let's see. Deplorable Kathy says, looks like the left is fishing for news. Sad on their part. There's so much more to talk about. By the way, Steve, find a way to be on the air 24/7. You kept me sane through Irma. Thank you. I can't be on the air 24/7. We have to sleep here sometime, but we do our best to be on the air as much as we can for you guys. If you have any comments, write to me on @Lookner, @LOOKNER. Cindy Lopez says, yeah, the black screens are way worse now, appearing a lot and staying a lot longer. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's we hate it. And a bunch of you have texted me about the black screens. I'm really sorry, guys. Andrew Sova says, I'm getting annoyed by the ongoing blackouts to your channel. YouTube is making it so we can't get information. Again, I would ask, please watch we can watch the repeat either on YouTube or on Facebook, and the black screen shouldn't be there. You should be able to go through the whole story with me. And I will forward your tweets and messages to our CEO, Joe. Christine Bestien just made a donation. Thank you so much, Christine. We appreciate it. And I'm gonna just show you, for example, it's really frustrating. Where is it? There was a message somebody sent in that talked about how frustrated. Yeah, Cindy Lopez sent in, said, wow, trying to watch, but black screen keeps showing up and staying there for quite a while. It has blocked your report big time. Oh, and it's black again. It's black again. Amazing. Well, guys, we're going to have to fix this. So it's black again. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Look, what's the blackout? I'm just on the screen. Nunya Bidness writes in about this story, but he's not using a private server. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm just talking to Joe, our boss. Okay, so, well, look, here's the deal. We're having some issues with this broadcast, but Andrew Sova says you're wrong. The blackout will still be there if you watch it. Andrew, the videos I've seen when I watch them on the archives, the blackout is not there. I'd actually like for the blackouts to all be there, because then we could actually show. We don't have to take a screen capture. We can send the video to YouTube and say, look at your own video. But in the past, the blackouts have disappeared when the video gets archived. Anyways, so I think we're going to end the stream now, because as you can see, they keep blacking us out, and let you guys. We're going to let you watch it, watch the stream in repeats, and we're very sorry about this. All we can do is keep contacting YouTube about it. So we're really sorry about it. Yeah, and I'd also encourage you guys. I would really encourage you to write to YouTube about this. You can go to YouTube. They have a Twitter account where you can complain about it, and I'm sure you can send feedback. But if all you guys write to YouTube, they'll see it's a big problem and just say, hey, look, I'm trying to watch this channel, and these black logos keep coming up. So I would encourage you all to write to YouTube and tell them what's happening. We're telling them what's happening too, but it'd be good if they heard from you, so you could know that, like, hey, we want to see these broadcasts, and we can't see them. So that would really be helpful. I'm trying to get you that YouTube address right now, if I can. For some reason, it's not letting me get it to you. Let me just look. Yeah, if you just go to @YouTube, just tweet them, and also you can write. I'm sure you can write to them on YouTube. But I really encourage you to, because it's just preventing us from it's preventing you guys from watching the stream. And it's really frustrating for us. So, and we don't know why it's happening. Anyways. Cindy Lopez says, this story is overblown by the media, this Jared Kushner story, anything to undermine this administration. Okay, so we're going to wrap up the stream right now and try to figure out what the heck is going on with YouTube with these black screens. I'm really sorry about this today. But we really appreciate you all watching. Thank you so much to the moderators. Thanks you so much to the moderators for moderating the chat rooms today. I really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube so you know when we're coming on with these videos. We come on with breaking news videos at all hours, at all times. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get a notification. Also, I always, even when we're not on the air, I'm updating my Twitter with breaking news info. So you can follow me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. And follow us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting. Also, feel free to share our videos on Facebook and like them on YouTube. We're small, we can't afford to advertise. So when you share our videos on Facebook and you like them on YouTube, that really helps us out and lets other people know about Right Side Broadcasting. And also, what else was I going to... Oh, we're black again! Can you believe it? It's amazing. We're black again. Just amazing. We need to screen capture an entire video. I'm telling that to Joe now. Crazy. So there you go. Par for the course, guys. We keep going black. But thanks to the moderators. Thanks to everybody who donated. If you want to keep seeing us on the air, we're viewer supported. You can donate at rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can click on the $ in the YouTube chat room. Also, and I think that's it. I think I said everything. Thanks to the moderators. Thanks to people who wrote in your comments about the story, and also letting us know about the black screens. Crazy, crazy. And please, I would encourage you, watch the full broadcast either on Facebook after it's over or on YouTube after it's over. There shouldn't be any black there, and you can actually see the whole stream rather than seeing black all the time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I apologize that you had to have your broadcast interrupted with this stuff, but we'll get into it. We're going to keep looking into it with YouTube, and we're going to try to get this fixed. And if there's breaking news later tonight, we'll come back on the air, definitely. But for now, I am Steve Lookner. I hope you have a great evening and a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon here at Right Side Broadcasting.